cicadas, everybody. Cicadas, that's a great name.
I know.
Was that you, Nico? All right, so we're in this series called Instalife, and I have a question for everyone. I like to start off with a joke, it's kind of my thing. So, how much does a hipster weigh?
Instagram.
I heard that this week, and I thought it was hilarious. Most of you guys said it just not smiling. Oh yeah, believe me, it gets better than that, though. Don't worry. So we're in the series called Instalife, and last week we took some time to look at your guys' Instagram photos. That was really fun. So I thought, well, if we did that again, it might be kind of redundant and not really all that much fun. No, but who am I kidding? We're gonna do it again. All right. So here, let's start. You guys can play along. If it's you, don't say it's you, but everyone else can kind of guess. So kind of look around and see if it's that one person who's like kind of snickering or thinking like, why did I post that? I was dumb. All right. So I got to see a lot of interesting things this week.
Natalie.
This is an artsy one. I like this one.
What is it? It's Natalie.
I think it's a painting of a picture, maybe. Natalie, what is it?
Yeah, it's on a piece of wood.
Did you paint it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I thought it was a photograph.
Wait, of a
Oh, good for you. That's really nice. So that's Natalie. All right, let's go to the next one. Whose is this? Oh, come on, really?
Yeah.
Well done, yeah. Does anyone have more ear piercings than 3 in here?
I only have one.
That's two.
That one is not an ear piercing?
No, it's a clip.
Oh. Steve has 3 now?
I have 12. 0.
0, okay. All right, what about this one? Who is that? With her rubber band arms? Cameron. Yes, it's Cameron. Isn't that adorable? With their chubby arms. Babies that are fat are great. I hope she doesn't see this. Okay, what about this person? You can tell that one. Who's this? Where's this? Is she here? There she is in the back. Look how adorable with your mama. You look exactly the same.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah. Just grew up. Alright, let's see the next one. Who's this? I like this one a lot. I thought this was cool. They're electrifying. Would you say the host? Yeah, it does kind of look like the host. Maybe this person is a very big host fan. Who thinks? Anyone know? It's probably the person fist pumping in the back. It's Magoo! She's like, who is it? I don't know. It's me. So there's Magoo. Alright, we have another one. Oh! Little angel. Does anyone not know who that is?
I don't.
You don't? Yeah, that's Nico. I think that's the last one of those, right, Angie? Or is there another one? Then we have, wait. Then we have the cliche ones. Is that coming up? Okay, yeah. So we have what I like to call Instagram cliches. And I was just going to Google search them, but I was like, why not? I could just find them on yours. So who here does the duck face? I want to see everyone's duck face. Can we see it? Nice. Gabby has a good one. That's good. Where's Hannah? Hannah has a great one, yeah. And that is a good job. All right, let's go to the next one. There it is. That's a duck face. Well done. Playing some tennis. Yep, so that's the one that you see everyone. I don't know, where did the duck face even start? It just started because girls are like, look at my lips. So this is one of the Instagram cliches. Then we have the all not as popular peace sign.
Oh no.
Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Is that Gabby Matesi with bangs?
Gabby and Alex.
How long ago was that, Gabby?
6th grade.
6th grade. When I went through it, I had to actually find the comments to see if it was in fact you, because it didn't look like you at all. Yeah. But now the peace sign, I mean, unless you're from like the East, right? Like nobody really uses the peace sign anymore. It's kind of become one of those things that's like, what's the word? Like, no. What's the word?
Burrows.
No, like when you're like trying to be like ironic, like you're doing things that's not like really what? Well, no, but it's like you're doing it to be ironical or ironic, right? But that is totally a word. Note to self, not a word. Well, you're doing it to be ironical. That's a good word. But the problem with that is like when you're trying to like do something ironic here, there's a fine line that you have to walk. Because if you mess up and people think you're serious, then you're like, people really think that you're like really like Rainbow Bright or Pokemon or something, when you're really just wearing the shirt to be kind of like, I have an Ninja Turtle shirt that I stopped wearing because people kept like telling me how much I like it.
Ironical is a word.
It is? Yeah. Air 5, Mark. Take that, everyone else in the room. Then of course we have the selfie. Who's here is taking a selfie?
The one-eyed selfie.
Yeah, everyone is taking selfies. It gets so annoying every time I go into our bathroom at home. Pear's in the mirror, just taking selfies of herself, doing the MySpace. Look at her. That is not true, no. But do you guys know? Did you guys know MySpace?
Yeah.
MySpace was like the Facebook before Facebook was cool. And like everyone had the same cliche MySpace photo. Everyone had that. I mean, I did it, but some people did it. So, but the selfie is like a category of its own. There's all like different ways that you can do it. You of course have the one that like everyone tries to do, like I don't care look, like just like whatever, like I don't even care that the thing's up there. Angie, hit the next one. That is not. There's Abraham Lincoln doing a selfie. There's old Honest Abe. Go to the next one. Then of course you have the selfie where everyone seems to do, where they put the camera right in front of their face. Have you guys seen that? Everyone does that. You're basically just telling the world like, I don't really understand angles well. That's like, only get like half their face. Yeah, that's an iPad, of course. I guess she didn't have an iPhone. That's just a random person from Google because none of you guys did that. Or they were just wildly inappropriate photos that I wasn't going to put on our screen. Okay, so that's Instagram. Those are some Instagram cliches or. But I like Instagram because Instagram is like what you're kind of showing the world your life, right? Like you're showing everyone like how you live every day and like all the cool stuff that you do. And that's actually not true. Like what you're really doing is like you're picking like the coolest moments of your life and trying to pass it off as like this is what I do every day. Every day I'm at Niagara Falls, or every day I'm like eating this great food or something. So it's not like what? Great food, not grape. Great food. Anyway, Instagram has, when I first got Instagram, my first photo was just of food. Because I was like, that's kind of what you're supposed to do, right? Everyone's done that, right? Just taking photos of like food. Yeah. I've never looked at a food photo and just been like, oh, I can't wait to like that photo. Like, they're never good photos or like they're on paper plates. It's like, it's all about presentation. Come on, people. Yeah. So it's not really how your life actually is. It's just like your representation of yourself, like what you're kind of hoping that people see your life as. That's kind of like what Facebook is too, because like we control like what we post as statuses or what we post as pictures. It's like what you want people to kind of see, like how you are. I always like the people that will take the selfies and they're trying to look like really thug or really like gangster. I don't know, but it's like you're from Short Hills. There's not even a hood here. Come on. Like, your neighbors are all playing lacrosse. You're not exactly Grandmaster Flash over here. I always like the ones that would keep people are trying to look really cool, and they're wearing like the bar mitzvah sweatshirt that they got when they were 13. Like some mom made them. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I noticed this week. So, but Instagram is not, it's weird because it's not like a real representation. It's just like, kind of like the highlight reel, or what you're kind of hoping the highlight reel is. There's this great quote by a pastor named Stephen Furtick. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he says, "Never compare your average to somebody else's highlight reel." Yeah, because we compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel, and that's what we do. Like you're always looking like at somebody else's highlight reel, thinking like, "Oh, well, why not me? Why can't that be what I'm doing or whatever?" So last week, Sarah talked about how that happens, and we can like form all this jealousy issues or whatever. And it's not everybody. Like not everyone looks at Instagram or Facebook and it's like, oh, I want that to be my life or whatever. But it happens to some people for sure. And last week we talked about there's 3 things that you need to do to not be jealous or not be that person. And Sarah talked about being thankful for all the things that God's actually given you, being content, basically being satisfied with your things. And prioritize. You start to value things different. So that's what Sarah talked about last week. So now we're talking about like people's highlight reel and how people are putting it up there to like to show like what they're doing. Because everyone's showing like the most important or most like interesting things. No one ever puts like what they're actually doing up on Instagram, such as these examples. So let's do that. Like, no one's sitting down on a Saturday night thinking, this is what I'm actually doing. This is most people's like average Saturday night. They're just sitting on the couch, eating, probably with the laptop next to them. That's what most people are doing. But you don't see this on Instagram. Why? Because it's super dull, right? Who's just sitting there, I'm watching TV again. That's what I'm doing tonight. Nobody does that. What else do we have? just on your computer. These are all bad, obvious. Well, those are bad. What else we have? Someone's average. Just reading. Aww. Hannah reading to little Gracie. That actually was on Instagram. That's not bad. Or just petting my dog, or in this case, Nico laying on Taz. That's a good dog. He's a good laying down on dog. But you don't see these on Instagram because they're not all that interesting. Do we have any other uninteresting Instagram photos? Oh. Well, this is my cousin Sven in Paris. These are one of the things that like...
Average.
No, this is not average. We'll come back to this one later. We'll come back to this one. But no, because we like to put up the coolest photos. This is actually one of the cooler photos, I guess. Like, hey, this is where I was. This is what I'm doing. But we can get caught up looking at everything. And it always starts out like innocent enough, right? Like, you're just looking to see what other people are doing. Like, you know, it's just like scrolling through whatever. And then there's nothing really about it. And when you're looking at photos or like statuses or like what people are doing, there's really two different ways to react. The first one is like, awesome, that's really cool, good for them. Like, I'm glad that they're getting to enjoy this experience. But then of course there's the other one, it's like, oh, that looks so fun, why isn't my life more like that? You know, and I think everyone's kind of guilty of doing those exact two things. Because you're looking at these things and you're like, oh, my life's not as good as theirs. You know? You're saying like, only if I was more like that person. If my life was more like that person. And then you're trying to become more like that person. Well, you're never really designed to be that person, you're supposed to be you. But people don't realize that, so they're always trying to be like bad versions of someone else when really they should just be trying to be really good versions of them. Because you're looking at it, it's like, oh, well, if I had their life, I'd be going on trips every weekend, and I'd have these great relationships. And you know the relationship photos are like always staged. It's like some kids that's like forced to be in a photo. But you're looking at them like, oh, they're so in love. It's like, no, at most they're like in lust. But, so, you're looking at these photos, and after a while you can kind of like become obsessed with it. And you may not think it's like obsessed, you're like, oh, come on, man, it's like obsessed. I'm not obsessed with these photos just because I'll scroll through them or whatever. So I'm gonna do a little test. You guys gotta be honest though with me. When you guys are bored and you have your phone on you, and you're just sitting around and there's nothing really else to do, who will check their phone? Right? And you'll start doing Instagram, or you'll play games, or Snapchat, or Vine, or whatever. Candy Crush is one of Kara's new favorites. Alright, so let's be brave here. Who actually checks their phone when they're in conversation with other people? Oh, come on. More than that. Yeah.
Depends who's talking.
It depends on who's talking? Okay. What's that? Depends on the conversation, depends on the person. Do you guys hear what you're saying? These people aren't as interesting as my current scrolling screen or whatever. Alright, what about this one? Who checks their phone at the dinner table?
We don't eat dinner together.
You don't eat dinner? Okay. We have one person sitting like, dinner! No, that's it?
We have a rule against
Really?
it.
Maybe we should have everyone like close their eyes.
I've done it.
Alright, what about in class? More in class than anyone. Hey, what else? Alright, you're not gonna listen. What about in church? Anyone in church?
I have.
Come on. Yeah, you definitely have. I've seen you guys on your photos. You want me to think like, oh, I'm a new version. That's what I'm doing. So I do all those things. I was telling my dad how I'm speaking this week on like distractions of technology, and he's like, you're the last person that should be speaking about that. Because I do that often. Dad's in the room. Happy Father's Day, Dad. But like, happy Father's Day to everyone's dad. Yeah. But like, I know I do that all the time. I'm a big victim of that, or whatever it's called. Victim. Like, yeah. Like, it's not my fault. I'm the victim here. But it's like, I know I do that. Like, I'll be talking to people and I'll answer a text, or I'll check stuff or whatever. And I know I shouldn't do that, but it's hard not to. Stuff's really interesting. But, because people are starting to think, well, like, you guys even admitted, like, that conversation's not as interesting, or that person's not as interesting. So let me distract myself with someone else. Let me distract myself with somebody else's statuses, or somebody else's photos, or like, whatever. Because that's what you want to do. I know for me, everyone gets distracted in different ways. Like, there's some people that like certain things, like travel photos or whatever. I like traveling to unique places. Like, that's what interests me. Like, I had the picture of Sven and Angie. You put that back up. This is my cousin Sven Arn. He's at Paris. Like, this doesn't interest me all that much. Because, like, throughout the summer, we'll see, like, 4 or 5 photos of people, like, in front of the Eiffel Tower just standing there awkwardly. Sometimes people will, like, hold it up, you know? You ever see those? I think those are pretty good. But, like, that's whatever. But like when people will post a status of like them in like West Virginia woods, like hiking or like jumping into a waterfall, like that's when I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. Like I really want to do that, and can I get there in a weekend? Like that's what interests me. Or running events. I really like running events. You guys probably know that about me. Like I like doing that kind of stuff. But like those are the two big for me. The two like big ones for me. And it's amazing how fast I can get trapped in Facebook. And I know I'm not the only one here. Have you guys ever tried to go on Facebook for like just a quick second? It's impossible. You can't do it. Like I go on there and just like, oh, let me just check. I don't even know why I go on, but like you just check like one thing and then 45 minutes later you're still, looking at travel photos, or for me I'm looking at like adorable cat photos. And I like that. I like adorable cat photos like way more than any 20-something guys should. Like I know that. And it's weird because I'm a dog person. I don't really get it. But for me, like cats, they just do more like human things, right? They're just more photogenic. Whatever, you guys are weird too. That's just what I do. So I used to never go on people's Facebook pages because I thought just people weren't all that interesting. And I would just like upload my own things and then I'd interact with those people that would interact with me. And that was just what I liked. But then I got onto Instagram, and Instagram was easy because I could just double click and like and then shoot it up really fast or whatever. So that was cool, and I got used to that, and then I started reading more on Facebook, and it's been like this whole whatever, so I spend more time doing it. And then you guys know on Facebook you can like see less and see more. I love that because you can like tailor now your thing to like see like the top 100 people that actually interest you. So that's been terrible for me because now Facebook is way more interesting. Well, at least for me. Except because if you didn't do that, it would just be like people's like statuses, those super boring statuses. The ones that are like incomplete, I hate those. Like going to the gym. Yeah, but then what? Like how was the gym? You never get any like conclusion. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, the notes photos are never really all that good. And then food photos are never good. Unless it's a cat eating food. Because who gave them people food? But seriously, do you guys think it's like a distraction? Like can we all nod? See, now shake your head. What do you think? Yeah, I didn't see anyone like shaking their head. It is. So let me ask, when you guys wake up in the morning, are you the type of person that the first thing you do when you wake up, you open your eyes and you're just like, oh, good morning, Jesus. Like, let's have a good day. Thank you so much for that wonderful night's sleep. Thanks for waking me up again. Or you're the type of person that when you wake up, your first thing is like, where is it? Is it on my nightstand? On the floor? Oh, good, it's right next to me. Oh, thank God. It's like you grab your phone right away. It's like, all right, let me see what everyone's been doing for the last 6 hours while I've been asleep. Like nothing. Everyone's been asleep. So I know I do both of those things. I want to do another survey with everyone, but I need everyone to be honest, okay? And I'm going to have everyone close your eyes, so if you can't see what everyone else is saying, close your eyes. All right.
Really?
I thought it'd be really fun. What if I just left? Like, how long would you guys keep your eyes? Okay, you guys just raise your hand. All right? How many of you, before you go to bed, will check your social media? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Leave them up. Give them waving. Okay, you can put your hands down. Now, how many of you, be honest, pray before you go to bed? A little bit less? Okay. Thank you very much. You can open your eyes. I just want to get like a survey of the room and you guys not to feel judged, so only I can judge you. I took a photo of you guys while I was doing that. In Luke 12:34, Jesus says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Have you guys heard that verse before? Yes. So what does that verse mean? It means that where you spend your time, what you spend your time thinking about, and what you spend your time looking at, like those are the things that become important to you. Right? That's pretty obvious. That's the stuff that becomes like interesting to you, and the stuff you crave more, the stuff you want more. Like the more that you look at other people's lives, the more they become important to you. And this isn't the case with everyone. Not everyone will get caught in the trap of like going on Instagram or Facebook and having it be a total distraction. But it does happen to a lot of people. It's like drinking. Like not everyone who drinks is going to become a drunk, but it's going to happen to some people. That's just life, unfortunately. So think about like where are your treasures? Are they in the relationships that you're building? Because treasures aren't often material things. It's like what you value most. And a lot of things that people value most are not like physical things. Like people always think that's like, oh, it's my cars or my phone or whatever. But it's like people's time and like who you trust and building relationships. So are your treasures in the relationships that you're building? Are they with spending time with your family? Like actually listening to your family? Or are they, like I know so many of us will check your phones when in conversation with our family? Like or is it looking at Facebook or Instagram or seeing what everyone else is doing? Like I don't want to sound like a super lame adult and like kids are always on the computer. You need to go outside more. But for us, some of you need some sun. Like you guys need to, you do need to get out more. Like I mean that. Go outside. But, and I get it, like the computer is great. Like I love the computer. There's so many fun stuff that you can do. And TV honestly has gotten crazy good. Right? Like TV is awesome. I really like TV. Now we have TiVo and it's just becoming so convenient. So I'm not saying that those things are like awful, but those things get in the way or can get in the way of the things that are really important. And I think that it's time in your life or my life or everyone's life to like put those things in prioritize, like prioritizing order. Like what is it that's important to you? Because those things like watching TV or watching movies or video games or Instagram or all that stuff, those are temporary pleasures. And they are pleasures, like they are fun, but they're temporary. And all those are like really temporary. Like if a photo's like a week old, like nobody sees it anymore. You know, it's gone, like especially from Facebook. And those stuff they're fine, but unless they start getting in the way of spending time with family or spending time with friends, like that's when it becomes like an issue. That's when you realize, oh, I'm probably doing this too much, right? And then really, when it starts getting in your way of spending time with God and spending time with Jesus. Because a lot of you guys, there's more people that raised your hand, said that you'll check social media before you pray, or that pray. And it was interesting, not everyone was in both categories. Some people were just in one, some people weren't just in, but then some of you guys were in both. Yeah, some of you guys were in both, which was good. Because like your friends, your best friends now, I know like you think like you're going to be shoulder and shoulder for life, and like they're going to be friends forever. But like even your best friends now, they're probably not going to be your best friends later in life, because you guys are in high school or middle school, and then you have college after that, and then you have life after that. Like you don't really stay super close with the friends that you think you're going to stay super close to. And then, but of course you have your family, and your family's going to be around for a long, long, long time. But eventually life happens, right? And then once those people are gone, you have to realize like, what is your life going to be based on? Is it going to be built on those temporary pleasures? Is it going to be built on relationships? Because if it is built on relationships, the one that you should be focusing on the most is your relationship with Jesus. Because that's one of those things that's not a fleeting pleasure. It's not a simple pleasure. It's like a real pleasure that God wants in our lives. Because it's one of those things that last and last, like past your best friend's relationship, past your family, you know, this is the one that keeps going and going and going. There's a verse in Matthew 22, 34 through 38. And he said to them, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment." That's pretty straightforward, right? It's the first and greatest commandment. But people will think of it and they're like, oh, well, I don't need to spend time with God today. Or it's not even like where you're trying to like categorize like, oh, I don't need to do this. You're just not even thinking about it. It's not even in your life. It's not one of those things that you go through like, it's not a habit. Like Facebook is a habit. Because it's something that you've done and you like and you do that, right? Spending time with your friends is a habit. But love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind is not a habit, even though it's the first and greatest commandment. But it's something that you can make one of those habits. So what to do? Like I like action steps. That helps me, maybe not help you, but I like coming out of things and being like, okay, if I do these things, that would be a little bit better. So the first thing you need to do is you need to decide whether you want to spend more time with Jesus. And that's a personal decision. It's, you know, that's something that's totally on you. I can't tell you, hey, you need to spend more time with Jesus and it mean anything to you. That's something that you have to look in your life and be like, hey, I do want this, or for whatever reason you don't want this. But if you do want this, that's really like your first decision. Like, do I want to spend more time with Jesus? And if it's a yes, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, what are those things that are standing in the way of me spending more time with Jesus? You think about it, like, what are the things that take up your time now? Again, it's different for everyone. Like for me, it can be exercising or spending time with friends, and those are both good things, but they can get in the way of spending time with Jesus. Because I'll wake up and I'll want to go on a run, when really my first thing should be doing is pray or get some alone time with God, you know. But I'll justify it because I'm like, exercise is good for me. I'll go do that. Or spending time with my friends late at night, like that's good for me. What are the things for you? What are the things that you spend your downtime doing? Because we all have things that we have to do, right? Like we have to work. Some of us we have to go to school. For some of us, you know. And then you have like your sports or things that you're signed up for, like your parents are making you do. So like you have to do those things. But what do you do during your downtime? Because in your downtime, that's when you find out like what you really value and what you really treasure. Like, is it just using your time to go on social media? Is it praying? Is it reaching out to friends? Is it just watching TV? Because in your downtime is when you find out like what's really like important to you, because that's your time. That's the time that like nobody else controls. So like, what are those things that are standing in their way? So once you decide that, you decide, I do want to spend more time with Jesus. What are the things that are standing in my way? Now you have to think, well, how do I adjust that? You know, and that's when you have to prioritize your life. Sarah was talking about that last week of like setting priorities, and it's really like, what are the things that are most important to you? And there's things that right now, like if you put them in order, and if you were honest with yourself, Jesus would come in like 6th or 7th. But then you can look at that list and be like, he's probably more important than Facebook. He's probably more important than whatever this is, you know, and you kind of like move them up the scale or whatever. And like I'm a realist, I realize that Jesus isn't going to become like your number one hobby or your whatever, the person you want to hang out with right away. But you can certainly spend more time with him. And I know every single person, myself included, and any of the other pastors in this church, we're all there. We want to spend more time, and we know we could spend even more time. So it sounds super simple, but like, what about praying before bed? Like, how cool would it be if every single person raised their hand? And like, this is what I do, you know? Praying before bed. And it sounds simple, like you say, just like a quick thank you to God, like, Lord, thank you for everything that happened today. Lord, help me with these areas in my life today, the stuff that went wrong or whatever. And just spending more time with Him. And then what about when you wake up? Like your first thing. Lord, hey, thanks for waking me up again. You know, because the Bible says that He's not promised that we're going to wake up every morning. So, Lord, thank you for waking me up. John 3:30 was our church's verse, I think, last year. And it's, He must become greater, and I must become less. And this is an awesome verse. And it seems like so simple. Like, yeah, God should become greater, my stuff should become less. But like, think about it. Like, do you really do that? I would argue most of you guys would probably say no. But imagine if we did. Or if we did that just a little bit. Like, just start adjusting things just even a small amount. Like, how cool would that be? And like, what's the worst that really could happen if you tried this and it didn't work? Like, worst case, you might become a better person. That's really the only thing that like might happen. But you probably spend more time with your family and friends, and you probably spend less time with technology. Right? I think we can admit that. Right? I know the more I do this, the less and less I'm on my phone. That's what I've noticed. So here's your challenge I wanted you guys to take away with you. And even if it's just for this week, and even if you do it just to humor me, like I'm fine with that. Just do it for this week. So try and think about getting off your phone a little bit more. Like for me, with iPhones, you guys can put it on airplane mode, and like the text messages can't come in, or put it on Do Not Disturb, and you can't have it. Or just leave it in your room and go do something. Like spend time with your family or whatever, and don't carry it on you all the time. I know, has really helped me. And then, because I almost never get like an important text. You know, it's never like something that I have to respond right away. You know, but everyone thinks that since it's a text message and the person's gonna have it, you have to respond right away. But your friends they never send like really important text messages. You know, maybe that's just my friends. But, so work on, and the other thing is work on those relationships that you know are important to you. Like your family, as much as they may annoy you or whatever, like they're the ones that are super important to you. Like they're the ones that are gonna be around for your whole life. So try spending some time with them and show them like, hey, I care about you. Today's Father's Day. When you're hanging out with your dad, don't be on your phone. Like that should be an easy one, right? Like that's an easy one. So maybe today's like a really good day to start. All right, so that's my challenge to you guys. And I know that I do all of them, and I'm trying to get better. But I think you guys can do the same thing. So just spend a little more time this week with God. That's my challenge to you. If I could look at every single one of you in the eyes, I would say it and look right at you. But so like, try and spend just a little bit more time with God this week. Whether it's praying or opening your Bible, because most of you, I know when I was your age, I didn't open my Bible for weeks at a time. And I wish I did. Like I wish I had more verses like stored away in my heart because I looked at my Bible more when I was younger. And spend more time praying. Like, people say like, oh well, you guys will often talk about like praying, reading your Bible, and hanging out with other Christians all the time. Well, yeah, those are the 3 things that you should be doing. I know it almost sounds like a cliche, but like those are the 3 things that you really should be doing. Spend more time with God, because He loves you and He wants to spend more time with you. Spend more time reading, because that's where you can find out like what to do with your life, and it's God's love letter to you. So read the Bible more, and then hang out with people that know the Bible, that love the Lord, and that love you. And so it's like your family and your close friends and stuff like that. So those are my challenges today for you guys. How's that sound?
Good.
Sounds good? Sound pretty easy? All right, so we'll see. All right, so if you guys will bow your head and pray with me, that'd be wonderful. I'm gonna sneak out of the room again. Lord, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for Elevate and Renaissance Church, and thank you that we can just come and hang out and hear a little bit more about your word. Lord, thank you so much for Jens and the worship band, and how awesome that they are each week and the time that they put in. And thank you for everyone that just puts this church and this ministry together, Lord. And this week, I want to put the challenge into each one of these kids, Lord, just to spend a little bit more time with you. And whatever you have to do, Lord, to remind them of that this week. And just put verses in front of them, put friends in front of them, and just that desire in their heart to spend just a little bit more time with you each day. We love you, Lord. You may pray. Amen. Love you guys. So we're dismissed.
Don't